Okay, so I will be explaining this demonstration of the routing information protocol that I've done here. So the routers I've used are Ethernet 4 slip 8 gateway node routers, which are IP gateways that have 4 Ethernet hub and 8 serial line interfaces. So any IP packet that reaches one of of this router's interfaces will reach the destination IP address through another interface. These nodes out here are 100 pasty LANs. They basically represent a network of users who are trying to connect to this router, because we know routers connect one LAN to another. And this link out here is a 100 pasty link. You said it's to connect the users to the network. And PPP DS3 is the link used to connect a network to another network. That is this router to another router. Now the initial scenario I used was the no failure scenario. That is, there were no links that were failed. I ran a 10-minute simulation. Also, I've configured this to basically export my routing table to my simulation log only once, that is at the end of the simulation. And these 4 routers are also loopback interfaces. Sorry, they're not exactly loopback interfaces. Sorry, scratch that. So as you can see, after running the 10-minute simulation, this is the graph for traffic sent. This lower scenario is the no failure scenario. As you can see, there is a certain number of bits, RIP update traffic bits, that are being sent at regular intervals. This is because routers that run RIP will send advertisements regularly at regular intervals to build the routing tables and to find ways to reach all the nodes, to reach all these LANs. But, okay, this is my failure scenario. The first scenario looks like this. Yeah, there was no failure recovery scenario added. So this is like an ideal case. Ideal case. And now in the failure scenario, I've configured this connection to be in such a way that, you know, the link between router 1 and router 2 fails like 200 seconds into the simulation. So as you can see, there were suitable, you know, there were like updates being made at regular intervals, like just a constant number. And then there is a sudden distortion out here. This little, it kind of rose and then it stopped, went down again, and then it had to, and then the amount of packets that had to be sent, traffic that had to be sent increased. This represents the time when the failure occurred. So there is a there's a sudden drop in the packets being sent, the traffic packets. And then this represents, you know, the router is actually trying to again send update messages, because these routers will send update messages whenever there is a triggered update from any other router. It always happens. Now we can see, now as you can see, look at the comparisons of the router 1 and router 2 in the two scenarios mentioned. Like both router 1 and router 2 had a certain amount of updates to their routing tables being made in the initial parts of the simulation, and then after that there was none, because there was no link that was failed. So those many updates were enough. By that time they already knew how to reach each of the nodes. But when when the failure scenario occurred, that is after those 200 seconds, again router 2 had more updates to its routing table, because and router 1 both actually did, because they had to find ways to reach each other indirectly. These routers had to find ways to reach the nodes indirectly then, connected to each other. So as you can see, router 2 there are these sudden increase in the number of updates, and then again after a few probably seconds there are updates being made to the made like around 3 minutes. Around 3 minutes in. Then it's the same with router 1, but there are a little more updates being made because router 1 has to like completely configure more updates that were being made even after like the 3-minute mark. So that's all in RIP. Thank you for watching.